Welcome to Ignition Point, the show that's here to get you fired up and ready to win the week. If you're looking to amplify your mindset with a fresh perspective, you're in the right place. Hey, what's going on? I'm Stephen Miller, and this is Ignition Point, the show that gets you fired up and ready to win the week. It's a great day for a podcast and a great week ahead, so let's get right into it. On today's show, I'm joined by the founder and CEO of Power Zone Coaching, René Johnson. René is recognized as an expert in leadership, business learning, and development who brings expertise, insight, and energy to the executives and business leaders she's helped over the last 20 years. She's the past president of Utah's National Association of Women Business Owners, the co-founder of an international nonprofit that's helped thousands of domestic violence victims, and an accomplished author. In fact, her next book, Leadership Why, is set to release early next year. René feels blessed to have claimed her power zone and shares the story of how she found it to help other leaders to find and embrace theirs. But wait a sec, what is the power zone? And how does it relate back to this month's theme of tenacity? Well, the power zone and your ability to be tenacious share a close relationship. But that's for René to share. So let's get after it. Here to help you step into your power zone, this is René Johnson.
Ever since I was a young girl, I felt a purpose, a passion burning inside that was drawing me in to become the leader I am today in my life and in my business. I come from a background of domestic violence, and I want to share a little bit with you, not to make you feel bad, but to hear how this is important in whatever challenge you may have in your life or whatever dream you want to go after. It was back in the 90s, and I was finally in a position where I was able to escape the violence that I had been in for over 13 years. Now, yes, I knew I had been abused, but those around me weren't able to offer any help because of their own comfort zone and wanting to avoid it. There came a day that I actually had someone recognize my voice. From there, I was able to take my children and move across the state to a town I never lived in. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a place to live. The next 3 years involved working with the district attorney, and they became my strength and my security. The DA had told me that he was proud of me and my strength, and that this was the worst case of domestic violence he ever saw. 3 years into it, I get a call from the DA, and he asked me, "René, do you have a minute?" "Sure," I said. "Well, I have some news for you. Someone in our office forgot to sign a document, and we missed the statute of limitations by 180 days. There's nothing more we can do for you. We're so sorry." And we ended the call, and I remember falling to my knees. I was on my own. After hours of being in this position of deciding if I was going to give up, I heard this voice saying, "This is not how it's going to end." Somewhere inside of me, I found the power to go after something that I did have control over, and the power was to protect my children. And I put myself back to school and learned enough that I could file the paperwork and be in the courtroom with my ex and his high-powered attorney, and I talked to that judge like a mama bear. I was told by the judge, "You win this. You can keep your children safe now." I was interviewed later in the years after this happened, and the reporter asked me, "What did it feel like when you realized the DA never had the power?" And it was in that moment I had a revelation. I always had the power. It doesn't mean that I have not continued to have challenges, but it is through finding that power that ultimately I have found what I've called my personal power zone. The power zone is a real part of us. It's where all success derives from. And once you identify yours, your own personal zone, you'll want to be there more often and stay there longer. If you've ever worked hard, persevered, or used grit to achieve a big goal, you've worked from your power zone. In your power zone, you feel unstoppable. You're clear on your why, not afraid to claim your strengths, and passionate about standing up for the values you believe in. So let's lean into that for a minute. Think about yourself as being a fighter for your life, your purpose, and passion every day. I'm talking about taking a stand for truly honoring yourself. That's what I mean about being a fighter, and not subject to everybody else's wants, needs, or demands, but what you know you truly have inside of you. Because when you learn to find the gifts, the strengths, the lessons, and you embrace those, that's where you're going to inspire others to want to see where they want to change and grow in their life. And that's being a leader. Leadership has everything to do with how you show up in your life and claim your purpose and your value and how you give it away and share it with others. When you're working from your personal power zone, you are working from a place where you are deliberate. You're claiming your power and you're focused in on making a difference with those you lead and those you have a chance to actually influence on a day-to-day. Consider for a moment what I call subscriber's mentality. If you were to flip forward from today, 10 years, 20 years from now, are you subscribing to the right things today that will bring you to the future you'll be proud to look back on? Or are you living life by default? See, no one else is going to claim your value for you. We need to practice building our tenaciousness and resolve about ourselves, your capabilities, your future. Even if you don't have all the answers, my charge to you is fight for yourself and leverage that energy so you can expand your personal possibilities again and again. That energy is a driving core force of your personal value. Our values make up our core motivating factor that will be the fuel you'll need to make greater decisions to take charge of your life. If you don't, then you're not going to see beyond the boundaries of your personal comfort zone. And your personal comfort zone is opposite of your power zone. Again, your power zone is your why, your strengths, and your core values. When you're in your comfort zone, often we have a tendency to hide our strengths because what if your employer realized you have a greater gift? Are you going to have to work harder? Are you going to be recognized? Are you going to have to be responsible for more things? What will happen is you're going to be in conflict. One of the things that I'm going to encourage you to think about is what I call your confidence blockers. Confidence blockers are made up of 4 key things. 1 is your fears. 2 is internal barriers. 3 is lack of assertiveness. And 4 is lack of self-care. Now, why are those important to consider? When our fears are present, what happens to your beliefs? When our beliefs are working against us, then we're less likely to practice assertiveness, which when we think about being tenacious, we're thinking about being assertive, not aggressive, but assertive. And self-care is the fuel for our dreams. When we're not caring for ourselves, then we're tired, we're exhausted, we retreat. When we take the risk to be our most powerful self, then we recognize those fears. We see them as, okay, that means I'm going in the right direction, actually, because if I got fear, that means I'm ready to step in to play bigger. And then we pay attention to our thoughts and we go, okay, I hear you. You might be a little scared or you might not believe in yourself, but remember the mama bear part I talked about, the tenacity there? That's what I use. I remember from past experience, that's just my fears talking to me. I got this. Which one of those blockers might be impeding your ability to step into your personal power zone? Now more than ever in the world we live in, your ability and willingness to actually get out of your comfort zone and be tenacious requires you to trust yourself. In doing that, that's where you're going to rise. You're going to rise above any uncertainty, challenges, obstacles, and even distractions you may face on your journey to success.
Experiences like René's are extremely personal, but her journey into the power zone is so deeply moving that it has the ability to serve as an awakening. It's the type of story that serves up a 1,000-volt shock to your system, telling you that you have the power within you. It was Howard Schultz who said, in times of adversity and change, we really discover who we are and what we're made of. You're not stuck. You can rise up from anything. You can learn something new. You can create new habits. You can even recreate yourself. Only you can change your situation, and you don't even have to wait until January 1st to do it. The problem is that people are just too damn comfortable. You have to be courageous. If you can commit to take the leap out of your comfort zone, confidently step into your power zone with a clear purpose in mind. When you're clear on your why, your power zone brings out your tenacity, and the how becomes easy. So you've got to remove all the barriers, the doubt, and the confidence blockers that René spoke about and get into the moment. Personally, I think the majority of people suffer from the worry we have about what others might think of the actions we take. Our shared desire to be liked may just be the universal confidence blocker. It doesn't matter what it is that you do. If you truly believe you're following your passion, you've probably asked yourself at one point or another, what will my friends think? But here's the honest-to-God truth. Your friends, your family, and the rest of your network, regardless of how big or small, will follow a 20-60-20 rule. 20% will support you and have your back. These people are your tribe. You know them, you love them, they're your ride or die. 20% will want nothing other than to see you fail. They're your biggest critics. They're cynics. They're living in misery, and they want to share that misery with everyone else. The middle 60% are slaves to their social media. They're too caught up in their own bullshit to care. They scroll the news feed in perpetuity and speak emoji fluently. Don't let the apathy or misery of others detract from your power. Let your tribe lift you up. I was taught that the people who tell you what you can and can't do are typically watching from the sidelines. As Ricky Gervais once said, it's better to create something that others criticize than to create nothing and criticize others. So don't listen to the critics. Let them hate. Just make sure they spell your name right. Don't let any other person's opinion enter the equation. Just go see how far you can push yourself. See how far you can go. You have to find what fires you up and motivates the hell out of you. Only then can you really provide value to your people, your customers, and the world. Tenacity is the only reason why a couple guys in a garage with a big idea can step up to compete against big businesses. Tenacity is why any underdog team can come out to their arena and take down a dynasty. Tenacity is what it takes if you want to get after it and win the week. I'd like to give a big thank you to René Johnson for contributing to this week's show. Everyone needs a coach, and René is one of the best. If you want to identify how much power you're leaving on the table, go take René's free Power Zone performance assessment at powerzonecoach.com/resources to identify your power leaks. Then, if you want to learn more about how you can step into your power zone, you should check out her book at powerzonecoach.com/book. For the easiest way to connect with René, check out this episode's show notes at decisiveleap.com/ignitionpoint. There you'll find links to her social accounts, her contact info, and more bonus content. If you enjoyed this episode, please share the show with someone you think would help. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, it would make my day if you'd take a second to leave a review for the show. Otherwise, you're always welcome to send your thoughts and feedback to me directly by emailing steven@decisiveleap.com. New episodes of Ignition Point are available every Monday, so be sure to follow the show wherever you get your podcasts. That's going to do it for this episode, so stay motivated and keep moving forward. If you put in the hard work right now, one day you could be the one motivating the world with your story. I'll look forward to speaking with you next time on another Ignition Point. Now get on out there and win the week.